Hi, I'm Toga, and today I have for you a chair yoga class. This class will be cued from the chair, but if you'd like to practice on your mat, you're welcome to do that too. If you're on your chair, you might actually want to put your mat underneath your chair. I'll just be practicing from my chair today. I'm a little tight on space. And all you'll need for this class is something to sit on if you are practicing from the chair. If you're not, no worries, but I would also recommend that you have maybe 2 blocks and a blanket. I'm actually sitting on my blanket right now to add a little bit of cushion and a little bit of support to my seat. And yeah, so we'll start in a comfortable seated position wherever you are, whether you're on the chair or on your mat. And before we get started, just a note that I will be cueing from the chair, but if anything is not working for you or your body, if you need to take a different movement, if you need to move things around, add or remove a prop, please feel free to do that. You know your body best, so just make sure you're moving within your own range of motion and there's no stress and there's no pain happening anywhere in your body. So I'm here to help guide you, help cue you, but if something isn't working for you at any time, of course, you can pause, you can stop, or you can take a different movement that works for you. So we'll start with a little centering practice here, and then we'll move into some seated warm-ups. We'll do a few versions of sun salutations, and then we'll move into a tree, which you can do seated or standing, and then we'll wrap it up with a little bit of cool down, some twists, and a shavasana. So if you are ready, can meet me in that comfortable seated position using whatever props here are helpful. You can gaze down the tip of your nose, or perhaps if it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes down. And just start to bring some awareness. Maybe some awareness to your space, what you can hear, what you can smell. If your eyes are open, what you can see. And maybe start to bring some awareness to your breath here. You don't have to change it, but it's just bringing some awareness to your inhales and your exhales. And if that's not comfortable, you can always do a little bit of grounding by placing your hands either on your thighs or maybe your heart center and just feeling the weight of your palms there as you gently and slowly bring yourself into the space you're practicing in. If you'd like to begin to deepen your inhales and exhales, welcome to do that. Or you can stay exactly as you are. And whenever you're ready, if your eyes were closed and it feels okay to softly blink them open, I invite you to do that. And we'll just get started with some gentle neck movements here, some neck rolls. So on your inhale, you can turn your chin slowly over towards that right shoulder. And feel free to customize this movement as works for you. Maybe your chin is a little bit lower, maybe it tilts up a little higher, maybe your gaze is lifted. Find what version of this works for you. And then on your exhale, you can roll back to center. Again, your gaze can be down here, or it can be lifted a little. And then on your next inhale, you can tip your chin over to the left this time. Again, taking the movement here that feels best on your neck, making sure there's not any pain or stress. And on your next exhale, you can come back to center. And then we'll just do some gentle neck rolls here. So putting all those movements together so that we're slowly rolling our head over to the right. And then pulling it through to center. And then over to the left. And then you can keep going there, adding whatever intuitive movements might feel good here. You start making circles, you can pause at a point that feels comfortable and then go the opposite way. If you're making those rolls or those circle shapes, just be aware that you're not craning your neck too far back, but taking whatever movement that feels good and is within that range of motion in your neck. And then you can come back to the center when you feel even and equal, and we'll come into some seated cat-cows. If you're on your mat, you're welcome to do these sitting in a comfortable seat, or if you'd like to do them in tabletop, that's also an option. If you're seated, you can place your palms on your thighs, and on your inhale, you can arch your back gently. Maybe your gaze lifts, coming into that cow. And then exhale, push into your thighs, rounding your back. Maybe gaze drops, coming into that cat. And then doing a few more of these, following the cadence of your own breath. Moving along with your own inhales and your own exhales. And if you want to add a little bit of other movement here, whatever might feel good, if you want to make some circles, first in one direction and then the other, I invite you to do that. We're really taking this in a nice, gentle, slow way, putting the movement in that's working for your body today. And then you can slowly start to make those movements a little bit more subtle until you're kind of just gently and slowly, like a pendulum, slowing down, coming back to center. And when you're back in that neutral spine position, so your back is not arching, it's not rounding, we're just somewhere nice in the middle here. We'll start our sun salutations. Again, if you're on the mat, feel free to do these standing or on your knees, whatever version of this works for you. If you're in the chair with me, you can inhale, lift our arms up as high as feels comfortable. Exhale, sweep the hands down. A couple options here. Your hands can come onto the top of your thighs again, or if you have those blocks, hands can come down to the blocks. Inhale, halfway lift, palms can come to your knees, straightening the back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Hands can come to blocks or to your thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. You can halfway lift on those blocks or again on your thighs here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As high as feels comfortable for your arms. Exhale, forward fold, hands to blocks or thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands sweep up. Maybe your palms touch. Exhale, bring them down to heart center. Pause for a moment here. Find your breath. Beautiful. We'll add on a little bit here. So on your next inhale, sweep the arms up as high as feels comfortable. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Palms can come to your thighs. And then on your next inhale, stretch your arms ahead. If you're on the mat, you would come into a plank here. So this is going to be our seated version of plank. So if you could stretch your arms ahead, if that feels comfortable, perhaps maybe see if you can flex your fingers as if you could bring them a little bit closer towards your face here. And then on your exhale, gently pull those arms back as if you could really tuck the elbows in towards your rib cage, coming into this cobra variation here. And then exhale, arms stretch up in kind of like a diagonal. Your head can drop a little bit. Don't let it totally fall down, but have a little bit of strength in the back of the neck here, coming into this version of down dog. And then exhale, forward fold, palms coming to the blocks or to your thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms sweep all the way up as high as feels comfortable. Exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Pause again for a moment here. Find your breath. Beautiful. And then we'll do that one more time with that plank variation. If that didn't work for you, or that didn't just feel what your body needed today, feel free to do anything else, a different movement here. You can go back to that first sun salutation where we weren't doing the plank, so take whatever your body is calling for. All right, inhale, arms sweep up as high as feels comfortable. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming back up, palms on your thighs here. And then stretching your hands out into that plank variation. Pay attention to your spine here. See if you can almost pull that belly button in a little bit closer to your spine. If you can activate and engage that core. Exhale, pull the hands in towards your rib cage, coming into that cobra. You can even put a little bit of an arch in that spine here. Maybe your gaze lifts up. Exhale, hands come out in kind of a diagonal here. Head can drop a little bit, coming into this downward dog variation. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, arms sweep up as high as feels comfortable. And then exhale, pull them down to heart center. Pausing for a moment. Finding your breath. Beautiful. And then we'll do one more sun salutation variation here. So if you want to take any of the ones that came before that, if you were like, I love this one, I want to do this one forever, you're welcome to do that. If you would like to come along with me, we'll inhale, sweep our arm up, as high as feels comfortable. Exhale, forward fold, hands can come to blocks or your body. Inhale, halfway lift. This time it might be helpful to put your hands on your thighs here. And then on your exhale, we'll pull in that right leg. You can lift it up underneath, or you can grab around the outside of your shin as if you were pulling this in, perhaps flexing your toes if that feels okay. And exhale, release. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll yourself up, and this time we're going to lift that left leg up, drawing it in a little bit closer towards our heart center. Perhaps flexing the toes if that feels accessible. And exhale, gently lowering it back down to the ground. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, rising all the way up. Maybe your palms touch. Exhale, bringing your hands down to heart center. Pause for a moment here. Paying attention to your breath, bringing some awareness to how you're breathing, the quality of your breath. if it's changed or not from the top of class to now. Maybe it hasn't, which is totally fine too. And then you can release those hands down to your lap or to your thighs. And then we'll set up for a version of tree. So if you're on the mat and you'd like to do this standing, you're welcome to do that. You can also move over to a wall or something else that you can hold on to help with your balance. If you're in the chair, a couple different options here. So you can again take that block. You might want to put it on a little bit of a lower setting for this. And then you can always put your foot up on the block here. You can also, if you don't want to use the block, you can just scooch that out of the way and then rest your toes on the ground so that your heel can kind of balance against one of the legs of the chair. So a couple different variations here. Take whatever version works best for you. If you want to sort of adjust yourself on the chair, maybe scooching forward a little bit, maybe scooching back, just find a version of this that's comfortable where you still feel like you might be getting that hip opening and maybe even challenging some balance. So when you're ready, we'll start with our right leg. So I'm actually going to use the block for this. So I'm going to put the block here. And then on your inhale, you can come up onto the toes of that right foot, the right heel lifting up. And then you can take that leg and lift it and physically move it if that feels okay and accessible. And then what I'm doing is I'm balancing that heel against the leg of the chair. If you don't want to do that, or if you want to challenge your balance a little bit, you could always lift it up a little bit more. So take whatever version of this works for you. Your hands might be on your body. Maybe they come to heart center. If it feels comfortable, you can lift them up into these tree arms. Again, if you want to work on your balance a little bit, you can sway back and forth here as if you were a tree, just sort of moving in the wind. And make sure you're finding your breath here, you haven't lost it. It's still coming in an easeful, peaceful way. And if you're swaying, gently slow those movements down. And on your exhale, you can release your hands. You can take that foot and bring it back to center, back into a neutral position. And just pause for a moment here, seeing if you can identify any differences, maybe in your two legs and your two sides, any sensations you might be feeling in your body. And then when you're ready, we'll set up to do the same thing on the opposite side. So again, take whatever variation of this feels good and comfortable for you. If you need to do something different for the opposite side, that's totally normal as well, so feel free to do that. I'm going to, again, use a block on this side, so I'm going to put my block near my chair leg. And on your inhale, you can lift up that left foot this time, or whatever leg you did the opposite of. And then you can gently move it over, perhaps placing the toes on the block or the floor. If you're standing, you can always move over to a wall, or you can always use a chair also for balance, holding the back of it. So whatever variation you're taking here, check in that it feels okay and safe in your body. Your hands can come perhaps to your legs, maybe to your heart center. You can always inhale and lift those arms up again. Option to take that swaying as if you're in a breeze. And then if you're swaying, you can slowly make those movements a little bit smaller. And then releasing your hands down. And whenever you're ready, you can lift that left leg and return it to the floor or return it to the mat. If you're standing, you might want to shake it out. If you're sitting and you want to shake it out too, that's totally fine. And then come back to your center here. We'll set up for a gentle twist. So on your next inhale, sweep your arms up as high as feels comfortable. And on your next exhale, we'll turn gently over to the right. I don't have a ton of space here, so I'm just going to rest my elbow on the back of my chair. My left hand is on the outside of my right knee. But if you have more space, you could always twist a little bit farther. You could always sweep that right arm back. Wherever you are here, if you are in the chair or perhaps you're doing this seated on the mat, just make sure that you're not cranking anything and you're not using your hands to really drag yourself over into this twist. Try to be a little bit light in your hands and your fingers so that this twist is coming more from your core and your torso area and less as like an intense movement where you're cranking yourself over. And just pause for a moment here, finding your breath. And on your next inhale, your arms can sweep back up as you slowly turn back to center. And then we'll set up to do the same thing on the opposite side. So with your hands up as high as feels comfortable, slowly twisting over to the left. That right hand can come to the outside of your left knee. Your left hand can come maybe to the back of the chair or even down to the chair itself. And now I've put my hand on the back of the chair here. I'm also just sort of resting my elbow on the back of the chair. That feels good in my body today. So take whatever version of this is calling for you. And again, make sure you're not cranking yourself over, but finding that integrity in your spine and that stability in your core. Gaze can maybe gently turn over that left shoulder, or if that doesn't feel good, you can always have it in a more neutral position. Find your breath here. Beautiful. And when you're ready, you can inhale, sweep your arms up. And exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Pausing for a moment. And then exhale, releasing your hands down to the mat or to your body. And then we'll set up for Shavasana. So if you do have your mat handy, I do recommend you can lie down for your Shavasana. If you'd like to stay in the chair, that is an option too. Again, you can stay seated on your blanket and sort of try to make yourself comfortable. It's a little harder to take Shavasana in a chair since you are sort of in an upright position, but you can always use those blocks. Again, if you want to use those blocks for sort of like a footrest here. Another thing you can do is you can take that blanket if it's not too hot, which it is in my apartment today, so I won't be doing this, but you can always roll it and kind of loop it around your neck here so it's a little bit like almost like a massage around your neck, and that gives you the opportunity to sort of just relax and gaze up. It's a little warm in here today, so I'm not going to be doing that. I'll just sit on my blanket, but feel free to take whatever Shavasana works for you today, whether that's seated or lying down. Wherever you are, your hands can be on your body, maybe placing your palms on your thighs, adding a little bit of weight here, or if it feels good, you can always turn your palms upwards. If it feels comfortable, you can close down your eyes or softly gaze down the tip of your nose. And then take a few moments here to integrate your practice, to connect your body and your mind. And if you're holding on anywhere else, now is the time to let go. you'd like to stay in your Shavasana a little bit longer, I invite you to do that. But if you're coming out of this, you can maybe wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and bring some awareness back into your body, back into the space you're in. And then we'll just finish with a little bit of breath work here, just a moment, a minute or two. If you were leaning back in your chair, maybe you sit up slightly. If you're lying down, you can definitely stay lying down. You can take this breath work in whatever way works for you. You can keep your eyes closed, or you can softly gaze down the tip of your nose here. And then a couple different options. We'll just be working on some breath awareness here. So you can place one hand on your heart and one hand on your abdomen. You can place both hands on your heart, or you can place one hand on either side of your rib cage here. And whatever variation you take of this, just start to bring some awareness to the way your body is moving with your breath. If you'd like to try to deepen your inhales and elongate your exhales, you're welcome to do that, but you don't have to. You can just pay attention. This is my inhale. This is my exhale. And bringing awareness to the way the body expands and contracts along with your breath. And if this doesn't work for you for whatever reason, feel free to go back to that grounding we did at the beginning with your hands on your body and just feeling that weight, feeling yourself rooting into the earth. And take a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, you can release that. You can bring your hands back to your body or a comfortable position. And we'll take one last inhale together, sweeping our arms up as high as is comfortable. And then exhaling, bringing our hands down to heart center, bowing to seal in our practice. Offering yourself a note of gratitude for taking the time to come to your mat or your chair today and practice yoga. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Toga. Be well.